Mr. Kyle Berry is a NeSmith competitor. Kyle, you with us?
Yeah, I'm here, buddy.
What's going on, brother?
No, same old stuff, just a different day.
So now you're a racer out of Missouri, correct?
Yep.
And you guys run up at West Plains and Malden and Clay Hill?
Well, we haven't made it to West Plains this year. We run over there a few years ago, and just it's kind of hard for us to pull the extra 2 hours when the Atwood's pay is about twice as much. So Clay Hill, they got a good pay, good purse there, and we were racing for points this year. I swore up and down we'd never do that again, but we kind of got about halfway through the year and was leading them, and so we're going to try to tough it out and win that deal. So.
Now,
but we run Malden on Fridays, and then Atwood or Clay Hill on Saturdays normally. So.
Now the NeSmith people are familiar with you. Come on the NeSmith Series hotline that I do for the series. But tell the people listening who may not know Kyle Berry a little bit about yourself and how you got to where you're at in racing.
Well, I started when I was 13, street stock racing, and raced that deal there for a couple of years, and then got lucky and won some races there. And we started out, we didn't know stagger spraying, we didn't know nothing, and we had a few people to help us and learned a lot of stuff on our own, and then got a few super stock rides from a few people and did that deal for a few years, and then we wind up just buying our own crate car. We've been crate racing for, I don't know, since the end of 2008, beginning of 2009, and been successful, not just been fabulous, but been decent. I've had some good rides, and that's helped out a lot too. So, but it gets old paying for it yourself.
Well, yeah. If racing was cheap, I wouldn't have a radio show.
Yeah.
I'd be trying to knock your fenders off. I'd have a car.
Yep. No, it is expensive, but it's a lot of fun. I've thought about quitting numerous times, and just never can seem to do it. So still at it.
So since 2008, you've been a cracker. How long have you been associated with the NeSmith Weekly Series?
Well, the weekly stuff, this is really our first year. Malden did the NeSmith stuff last year and wasn't really familiar with how all of it worked and really didn't care, really. We didn't race a whole lot last year. But we actually run some of the touring stuff back in like 09, 07, or 08, 09, and went down to East Bay and Talladega and Columbus and all down in there and run with them. And then this year we really didn't have no plans to do nothing. We got a new car at the end of last year, and we figured we'd take a year and try to get that thing going before we try to run any point stuff or do anything like that. And like I said, the Clay Hill stuff, we just we was doing good in the NeSmith stuff there for a while, and then we had a death in the family and fell off for a week, and then we run Clay Hill had a $2,500 race that we run that wasn't NeSmith sanctioned, and we had a couple of weeks there we missed out, and so we're just going to run the rest of the year and see what happens out of that deal. We got about a 5-week late start on the NeSmith on the weekly stuff, and we just been behind all year on the points, and like I said, that's something next year we may try to sit out and do, and I'll know a little more about it and how all of it works now and what you need to do to try to win that deal, and like I said, maybe next year we can set out and try to do something like that, but I feel like we're way behind to try to win the deal or anything. So,
well, I mean, and if you're having you're one of the top 30 in the footprint, the nation, so to speak, the NeSmith footprint. You're 29th in points, 4 wins on the season. So that's not real shabby if you think you're having a bad year. I mean, there's that's out of 424 competitors. You guys are sitting at 29, so that's not terrible.
Yeah. I don't feel like we've had a bad year. We haven't had a great year. Man, in 09, we won, I don't know, 20-something figures and just had an awesome year. And I guess you try to overcome that, and we haven't had that kind of year this year, so that's why I say it's not a great year. But and another thing, I feel like we run against different competition now than we did then. I mean, the guys over at Clay Hill, man. I mean, there's not a car that shows up over there on Saturday night that's not fast, and that's just the competition seems like it's a lot stiffer, and the technology is getting more advanced and more advanced, and you know, it's just it's harder to win races now. I feel like it is, and for a lot of people it may not be, but on when we race that, I feel like that when you win one of them, you earn it. So
yeah, well, yeah, it's got to be a challenge, and I think that's what all race car drivers are out for anyway, is the challenge of it all. So, being your first full year, you say, with the Neesmith guys and the series itself, what does the series mean to the competitors you race with and to yourself? What's the series mean?
Well, I mean, my description of Neesmith is the toughest crate cars in the country. I've been a lot of places and raced unsanctioned stuff and raced with Neesmith, and I mean, that touring deal is, man, that thing's brutal. There's not a car that shows up that's not fast, that's got good equipment, you know, and then it's in my opinion, if you can go run the touring deal and run decent with them, and you got pretty good stuff, you know, and it's just we run a little bit of fast track stuff back when we first started, and I don't know what fast track is today. We don't really have any fast track stuff in our area, but I don't see how they could be any tougher than Neesmith is. And I think, you know, if you ask the guys who race with weekly what that meant, what Neesmith is to them, I feel like they'd say the same thing. And it's definitely stiff competition, you know.
The weekly stuff, just looking at the top 10 in points, Trosclair and Washington, Shaw, Palacini, you go to these tracks, man, and even when we go to these tracks with the touring show, because a lot of our touring shows are at the weekly series tracks, those guys are beating our touring guys. So from top to bottom in both series, I think it's pretty tough.
Yeah, I do too. And when the touring deal was at over here at Malden and Clay Hill earlier this year, we can't even line up at Malden. I don't know what it is. Our new car, we just don't have something right over there. I've tried a numerous amount of things, and I'll eventually, hopefully, get it going over there. But we're lucky to line up, and then we go, you know, to Clay Hill, and then we unloaded this year. I mean, this past Saturday night was the worst we've been. I've got something off somewhere. Something's been or something, but I'm not making excuses. They beat me. That's racing. But we go over there and unload. We've been fast over there all year. I mean, we won, you know, majority of our races over there this year, and we won the $2,500 deal they had a couple of weeks ago. And just I don't know what it is, but when the touring deal come in, you know, we was terrible, that whole deal there, and I feel like we've gotten better since then. I'd kind of like to have a redo on that, but it don't work that way.
Now you guys had problems over the weekend. I mean, I'll tell you, here's how you got a good bunch of guys around you, but the Beesons, Jeff Beeson,
yeah,
him and I have been talking, and so I know you guys had a little rough spot over the weekend. What happened over the weekend?
I don't really know, Webb. We unloaded and we just sucked. I mean,
well,
you know, and it's funny because we've tried to. You know, we've pretty well been on baseline stuff over there all year, nothing special. The car's just been good. A $2,500 deal, we changed a few things up that where we felt like we were struggling a little bit at over there. It worked fine. The track was pretty well the same, and then we unloaded this weekend. We was just bad, tight in the heat race. And then the track slicked off, and then you don't know how much to go ahead and tighten on up some more because you're already tight. And, you know, it's one of them deals, and I should have tightened down a little more. The sprint cars, they run that USCS stuff around here, and I don't know what it is, but every time we've been at the racetrack with them guys, when they're running one of their shows, we ain't been worth crap. At Malden or Clay Hill or we went to Greenville one night and they were down there and we was running, I don't know, second or third and wound up flattening the tire. But it seems like if it ain't bad luck, then our car's junk. Hopefully maybe it's just a sprint car deal and next weekend we'll be all right.
Well, Don't quit. By all means, don't quit. You're a good interview. I like the fact you tell how it is. That's pretty cool. But two, you add to the competition up that way for our weekly series, and I wish you guys continued success over the last few weeks we got left. And before we let you go, brother, I want you to thank your sponsors and thank some of the crew guys that help you guys run up front and try to make you guys not suck when you get off the trailer. Yeah. We're gonna try to work on that this week. Jeff Beeson Jr., he's a big part of our deal. He helps us out a bunch, and Leonard Law. Man, my whole family has supported me through all my racing stuff. My family has been behind me 100%, and their support means the world to me. And my fiance for putting up with us while we do all that. There's a lot of guys here every weekend and in and out, and it's probably aggravating to her. And then I'd like to thank Scott Davis Farms. He's a big supporter of us and everything. And then my dad and grandparents up there at Barry Rippin, they're big supporters and everything. And English Heat and Air and Case IH. They're all of our sponsors and everything. So I think that concludes it. Well, I appreciate you taking your time out of your evening, Kyle. I know that the Beesons were looking forward to hearing the interview tonight, so I say hello to all the guys there at the shop listening to the show. Appreciate you guys listening. And get you a checker flag. We'll catch up on the NeSmith Weekly Series hotline here in a week or so. All right, buddy. We appreciate it. Kyle Berry, NeSmith's Crate Late Model driver.